There are timestamps in the description for specific areas in the video in case you need a guide on how to get anything. That is going to be included with every other video for this video series, and there's also links to the patch for this Pokemon hack. It is a Pokemon Crystal hack, so keep that in mind. Another thing is, with this particular demo, it is not fully functional on every type of emulator. So if you use Visual Boy Advance, which I was using initially, it is prone to crashing a lot. So if you want to use that one because you really want to use fast forwards, or another one that isn't GBG, that was the one I was using, make sure that you just save often and use some save states, otherwise your progress will get ruined really often. But anyways, yeah, here we are, Pokemon Coral version. Basically everything I feel like a Pokemon hack should be, at least of its type. This game, this hack, well, I guess I should compliment it by calling it a game because I think it's good enough to just be its own thing. By the time this hack is done, I think it'll be like good enough to where if you like saw it in a store, you'd want to pay money for it. But it's just a hack of Pokemon Crystal, and it just has a lot of detail in it. It's just got all the stuff that has been getting put inside these Pokemon hacks over like the last 20 years, and it's built off that and just made like a really amazing Pokemon experience / hack. It's cool you get to pick your color at the beginning of the game here too. I picked teal just cause I like it. I just think it's a cool color to have as the main character. Usually you're like red or something, or I guess an emerald or green. But yeah, usually you're the color red when you're playing your character in Pokemon. So it's nice to be able to pick something a little bit different. We have our rival here. This game follows a lot of the classic tropes inside the Pokemon series, so our rival is going to be kind of a jerk, so I name him Fart. I probably should have named him like A Fart or something like that. That way when he like comes up on us, you could be like, oh, a fart appeared, or you know, something like that. It's always fun to have funny names for the rivals, I think. I like the antagonistic rival inside the Pokemon games, just because I feel like it's good to have someone that you love to hate inside these easy games here, or these older ones. When you have the friendly rivals, I just don't think it has as much weight when you're playing against them. You don't like really want to like, you know, kick their teeth in. Oh yeah, we have the NES right here, or SNES. Playing Kirby on it, pretty cool. But this game has a lot of original music inside it. I don't think I heard even one track inside the entire thing. We're only in the north side of the region inside this, by the way. This demo only covers about half of the game as far as I know. The creator might make more. But this whole area is actually really dense. There's a lot to do in all these regions. I mean, areas, like the cities and so on. There's several side areas, like little mini dungeons, which are actually really worth going through. You don't just get like a little TM or something goofy like that. Like, you get legitimately rewarded for going through them. You get some pretty cool prizes. And the way the region is laid out is a little bit atypical as well, because I shouldn't say atypical, I should just say well-designed, because a lot of the areas tie into each other, which we will see, and it just seems really well thought out. Like, once you get Surf, like at the very end of the hack, you can sort of see that there's this river that runs through the region. You can actually go up it and go like all the way from town to town in it, because everything was attached, which I just thought was really cool. You could go all the way from that island that was on the map all the way up. There's like some areas when you surf that you could sort of see are like unfinished, but you don't even get the badge for surf yet in the game. You just get it like at the very end of the hack. He's just like, here you go, go surf if you want. But yeah, this hack is up to the 4th gym. So, and a little bit after that, you get to go to Luster City, which is like this big metropolis. And there's a side quest, side quest and a half there that you can take care of. And it's pretty cool. The AI for the Pokemon in this game, also not too bad. None of the trainers in this game were like, you know, except maybe like bug catchers, stuff like that, are like what I would call stupid. Like, there are a lot of older hacks, at least, ones I used to play, like Pokemon Light Platinum. Every single trainer would just be a red shirt from Star Trek, just a total jobber that you just plow through. So you just hold fast forward and, like, just destroy everything. So a lot of hacks would seem better than they were, because you'd get, like, cool Pokemon and stuff like that as you're going through them. And you'd be like, oh, wow, this hack's cool, I got my Zoroark, or, like, you know, it would be like Gen 5 back in the day. And, you know, you get your legendaries or have a choice of a whole bunch of different starter Pokemon. We would get whatever Pokemon you want. And it would just, you know, have a lot of novelty and seem cool. Maybe the graphics were a little updated, but the whole time you're just kind of going through a hallway and just fighting really easy trainers the entire time. Like Pokemon Light Platinum, that was for me. I got to like the halfway point in that game and I just couldn't do it anymore because it was just boring. But this game keeps you interested. Oh, here we go, rival. Oh no, farts here. Wafted in. What a terrible smell. Yeah, we're getting our starter here. The Pokemon's Professor's Lab actually isn't even in this town. You don't get to see it till later. It's pretty cool. A lot of original graphics inside this game, too. Yeah, no, just Professor's research partner. There's 4 starting trainers here. It's us, our rival, and these other 2. I don't even think I saw these other 2 trainers to the rest of the playthrough. I think they're just kind of there to, like, give a sense of scale in the world or something like that. I'm not even sure, like, positive, but, you know, I think that's cool. There's, like, a lot of thought that went into the building of this region to make it feel, I picked Chikorita here, by the way. Out of these, I don't know, I don't want to pick Charmander, because what we go through inside this, with the gyms and stuff that are available in this region, he's probably one of the worst starters, him and Cyndaquil. The fire types just are at a disadvantage or neutral at like every gym, whereas the grass type would probably be the best one out of all of them. Or you could say the water one. Yeah, I'd say the grass one is the best one out of them because you have more options by the time you hit the 4th gym. But the water ones are not a bad choice either. I did a playthrough with Totodile initially, but I decided Chikorita would be a cool one. Bulbasaur is probably the best starter you could start with, but Chikorita, I just like. I've always liked Chikorita, just a really good support Pokemon. I give them like really weird names too, like how Chikorita Despicy, because I couldn't really think of anything. I mean, it's better than Chico, right? But yeah, here. It's cool too because there's like kind of a mix-up in the Pokemon that all the rivals here get. Like I guess we don't see half of them, but we get our rival getting the type advantage Pokemon from the opposite region, so he's gonna have a Charmander, which I guess will eventually be a Charizard. So that's cool. Uh-oh, Fart wants to fight. He's a Nastafart coming after us. Man, I'm like 12. But yeah. This is gonna be a piece of cake. Yeah. The Pokemon that they provide you inside this hack are pretty legit too. Like, a lot of the design decisions seem pretty professional. This battle's really easy, by the way. You have to, like, basically be trying to lose it to lose. Your starter Pokemon should have an Oran Berry on it, so, like, if he scores a crit on you or something like that, you should be able to win. Also, something else, if you guys haven't been seeing hacks, this, you can see the menu right there? It includes the power and the PP and the accuracy of the moves that you're using, which is really neat. I like that a lot. With the level ups on a lot of the Pokemon, I'm not sure what region, or if any, they're following for the level progression on a lot of these Pokemon, because they just seem to learn things at random intervals. Like, you know, there's some of the classic stuff, like Chikorita learns Razor Leaf early, and like Totodile and Charmander and Salm, they all get Ember and Water Gun early and stuff like that. But other moves that appear later on, like, you know, mid-10s, 20s, and going forward, I'm not super familiar with the level progression for those Pokemon after, like, Gen 3, so I'm not sure how accurate they are. But everyone gets pretty well-rounded movesets, which is good. Oh, sweet, we defeated that fart. He's like, how could I lose? It's because you smell, my friend. Whatever. Yeah, see, like, he's just, this won't happen again. He's all like, you know, he's a little butthurt because he got defeated, but that's okay. Just says he's over competitive. Yeah, right. Ah, come on. That dude's like total butthurt city right there. I like him as an antagonistic rifle. I keep on saying rifle. It's a rifle. He shoots us. Rival. Oh, sweet. We got Fart's Pokédex. I don't know. I'm just juvenile. Stupid things like that just make me laugh. I like it. Yippee, we won! So, make sure you talk to, like, everybody inside this hack and just explore everything. Like, even the bookshelves, like, sometimes you'll find interesting info. Like, in the first town, you'll see the majority of that. But, I'd say every single thing inside this hack, just go and poke around and you'll find some cool stuff. Like, even if, like, you just watch up to this point in the video and click out, go, oh, I want to play this, I don't want any spoilers. Just, play around with it. It's definitely worth it. There's hidden items on the ground in a lot of places, and ones that are worth finding. Like, you can get evolution stones earlier than you would otherwise because of that. So, like, you can get, your Arcanine, you can get your Nidoqueen, your Clefables, your, just all those at a relatively, early point in the game, as long as you know where to look for them. You'll find side dungeons and stuff like that. Every single dungeon inside this game has an alternate path inside it, or like a little way to get a thing inside it. So they all have revisit value, or they all have value in exploring, which I think is awesome. Because even like normal Pokemon games, they don't have that a lot of the time. You just go through a dungeon and it might as well be a hallway. Like, you can like take a little fork in the road. Or like, oh wow, look, I found, you know, the HM for whatever, I mean, the TM for whatever, I got like a protein or a nugget or something stupid, you know? Also, every time you win a trainer battle, your money actually goes to your, bank account and you have to go withdraw it out of an ATM. This is like kind of cool and kind of not cool, because if you never lose, you have like an annoying chore to go do, like, oh, I want to go to the shop, oh, I need to go withdraw money out of my, ATM, which is available in the Pokemon centers. But if you do lose, it's cool because you won't lose that much money from a whiteout. So here's another cool thing. Attention to detail. Buttercup tied my shoelaces together and I tripped. There's a lot of stuff like that inside the game. You can just tell a lot of work went into this hack. Like, a lot of work. The fact that it's a Gen 2 hack probably helps with that, because I'd imagine the graphics are easier to make because they're, like, you know, more pixelated and so on. And I feel like it's easier to get a really good Pokemon aesthetic right inside Gen 2, because I think Gen 2, 3, and like 2 through 5, I feel like are the generations that served the Pokemon franchise the best in terms of just aesthetics. I don't know why, I think those just like look the best with the games. I feel like once we hit Gen 6, like once we hit 3D, X, and Y, there is sort of a slow decline in quality. I like world building wise how we have like, you know, fresh water and berries here in this random town rather than just selling you potions and stuff. Because like these people that have a Poké Center but there's like no gym or anything, like why would you need a bunch of potions here? You would probably just use, you know, ingredients for your Pokemon and so on. Also, if you come here before going in town, if you don't go talk to your mom, get your Poké Gear and everything, she'll call you and you'll have to go back. So that's pretty cool. You get, like, the option to explore inside this hack, which is cool. There's a point where you can do one of 2 gyms in whatever order you want as well, which I think is also pretty cool. There's just, like, you get a lot of options. You can just breeze through this hack really fast if you have a real solid team and you know what you're doing and do none of the side content. But if you do the side content, it'll probably take you twice as long to finish. Like, I'd say there's probably, like, a good 8 to 12 hours of content in this hack, maybe even a little bit more. It's hard to say for certain because I used fast forwards a little bit on my first run, but it crashed so much that I just started playing through it normally, and I didn't really have much of a problem with it. Because like I said, the emulators, it doesn't work very well on some of the emulators, so I just decided to go with the normal run about halfway through, but my time was all jacked up because I was using fast forward. It said I had like 70 hours of gameplay or something like that. I'm like, ooh, I know I didn't spend that much time on it. But yeah. You get a decent selection of Pokemon at the start of the game to catch. Here in this area, I believe the Pokemon you get are Pikapeck, this thing, the weird like woodpecker Pokemon, and the other Pokemon that is available, I think is like Rattata or something like that. I didn't really dig into this first area that much. I always just kind of passed through it. But there's the area right after the first town where you get like a really big selection of Pokemon that you can catch, which I think is nice. Even next to the second town where the first gym is, you get a pretty large selection of Pokemon you can catch as well. See, like Super Potion hidden right there. I get a pretty decent amount of the, what do you call it, hidden items going through here on this run. Because in my run that I didn't record, I like really went around and just started clicking corners all over the game, just going like, oh, is there something here? Like, can I find something interesting? You know, something like that. So I found like a bunch of stones. Shiny Stone, Dust Stone, 2 Moonstones, Sunstone, and Fire, Water, Leaf, and Thunderstone. You get Eevee pretty early in the game too, but like you don't get it from an event, you can find it out in the wild and you just have to work a little bit to catch it. And so you can do evolutions inside this, which is pretty cool. Another thing is they also have trade evolutions inside this game. You don't need a trade to evolve them. You get a link cable much later, and you can evolve them. Unfortunately, it's like at the end of the hack, so you can't really use those link Pokemon. But it's not that big of a deal. Oh yeah, this is Alex and I think Marcus's house, the other 2 rivals. They're just like a little bit ahead of us, but it's whatever. Yeah, I go around, I like just try to click everything. It's just Pokepal magazines. That's what you usually get as default in the book. You get a Pokepal magazine, some graphs, excuse me, and a book. I'm just getting over a cold actually, so my nose is like a little bit stuffed up. Talks about our normal Pokemon and stuff like that. Yeah, the first gym I think is pretty cool. We'll talk about it when we get to it, but I think the Pokemon choice for the first gym is just really interesting. It's not particularly hard or anything like that. It's just not something I've really seen. And I think the first gym was like the best choice for that particular selection of Pokemon. Yeah, so make sure you battle this chick before you leave this town. She is super worth battling. Teacher Kate will give you an awesome prize afterwards. Don't be a bad boy and not do your homework. She will punish you. That sticks there for a reason. Yeah, here we go. We got Razor Leaf. Yeah, Meowth's taunting us. Nobody cares. I actually don't know how long it takes you to get a Meowth. I don't know why I used... Oh, I didn't click it right. That's why I went to go switch into the menu. The battle music inside this game is pretty cool. I'll shut up for a second and let you listen to it. Pretty catchy, huh? I don't know, this game feels like Generation 2.5, because it's like, the game's more polished than like Pokemon Crystal, Gold, or Silver, but you know, it's not quite Gen 3 just yet. At the same time though, it has features from like Gen 4, 5, and so on. Like, your Pokemon have abilities in this game as well, it's all there. Like, for all intents and purposes, it's basically a Generation 3 game with Generation 2 graphics. I really like the aesthetics of Generation 2. It might be my favorite, which is kind of funny because you get the Quick Claw inside this game puts in work too. I love the Quick Claw. We're gonna give it to a Geodude we catch, and that Geodude is gonna be the fastest Geodude there ever was. But yeah, no, the aesthetics for Generation 2 I just think are fantastic, but I think it's kind of funny because, for me personally, I had the Gen 1 games for a long time. I completed the Pokédex in Pokemon Yellow, actually. And these guys just give you general information about stuff, by the way. But after that, I got the Gen 2 games around when Ruby, Sapphire, and... yeah, but before Emerald came out. And eventually I got my friend's Pokemon Sapphire version that he gave to me. And I started playing that. But I played Pokemon Gold that I got from GameStop for like maybe a few months before that. So Generation 2 has always like sort of been the redheaded stepchild with the Pokemon games for me. Because I probably played it the least out of the first 3 generations, and I just played the crap out of Gen 3. Like, I got most of the medals in the Battle Frontier once Emerald came out and stuff like that, which just took ages. I didn't have a Nintendo DS growing up, so when Gen 4 came out, I was still stuck with Gen 3. I've never actually played Pokemon Diamond or Pearl, believe it or not. I have Pokemon Brilliant Diamonds, but I have not had a chance to like really sit down and play it, even though I sat down and played this, but I just kind of did this on a whim. I feel like if I'm setting up my Nintendo Switch or whatever, like want it on my TV, I gotta like be in the right mood, because I'm like 28 years old now, I'm turning into an old man. I'm, you know, I feel ancient, even though I'm still young. There's probably some like 35-year-old watching this right now who's gonna be like, bro, you don't even know, wait till your back starts hurting and like your head falls off because you turn 30 and so on. My old bones, arthritis, but yeah. This is one of those shortcuts I was talking about, by the way. If you take this, you can go down towards the southern beach a little bit later on. You just gotta have cut. I'm walking a little funny because I was checking to see if I missed any items in here. Just pressing A everywhere. Right here you can get Zubat, Geodude, and Machop. So we don't want Machop. Yeah, see I just cut straight to Geodude. Because I was actually looking for a minute. I kept on getting Machops. Yeah, no, this Geodude puts in a lot of work though. But you know, I just kept on getting Machops and Zubats, so I just cut it out. I mean, you don't want to see me running around looking for freaking a Geodude for like 5-10 minutes. But yeah, Dwayne Pokemon. He's got pecs. He's the WWE champion. It's got little arrows right there, which I think might indicate the nature. I don't know Pokemon natures, I'm not a Pokemaster. But, like our Chikorita has higher defense, lower special defense, which, you know, is fine. It's a good wall Pokemon. It'd be better if it was, like, higher defense and, like, lower special attack or something like that. So, in the grass over here, you can get Buizel, you can get Cottonee, that grass fairy Pokemon. You can also get, you can use a Sunstone, that Cottonee, by the way. By the time you get to the second gym, you can get the Sunstone. You can also get Growlithe. Make sure you catch a fire Pokemon if you did not pick a fire starter. Just, trust me, get any fire Pokemon you find, just get it. You don't have to train it or anything, just get it. And, hold on to it, because you'll need it a little after the second gym from one of those side areas. There we go. God damn. That's the one I was talking about. Cottonee. Pretty cool. I used it inside the other run I did. I just made like a grass tank. Just gave it Mega Drain, Leech Seed, Stun Spore, and like Charm. And just used it to annoy the crap out of my opponent. Huh. I didn't really cut this out for some reason. That's weird. So I was looking for Growlithe over here. Come on, Growlithe. Come out of the grass. Let's find you. There we go. Growlithe. Wonderful. Growlithe isn't a bad choice either, because you can evolve them around where the third gym is. That's where you can get the Firestone. So you can get Arcanine. My game glitched out a little bit on me because I used Growlithe in my last run. I evolved him with the Firestone, and he learned every single move in his move pool for like ever. I like got to teach him Outrage and like Flare Blitz and stuff like that. And I'm like, and he also leveled down twice, so it might have been the emulator I was using or something, but yeah, it was really weird. But yeah, no, I definitely recommend Growlithe. Fire Pokemon in general, they're gonna be really good when you're fighting like the evil team inside this game, which I really like, because they don't seem to be trying to take over the world or anything goofy like that. They're just kind of like how Team Rocket was, where they were like a grounded villain who's just, you know, we're the Pokemon Mafia, and we do bad things like sell Slowpoke tails and stuff like that. Yeah, but a lot of them will have Pokemon that Growlithe is like at least decent against. So I'd recommend Growlithe. That actually is something that I did not like about like every Pokemon game after the Pokemon Crystal. The Pokemon teams, we got youngster Joey here, by the way, with his top percentage of Rattata, but he doesn't talk about it. That's one thing I did not like about a lot of the Pokemon games, like all the Pokemon games after Gen 2, I guess. I mean, there was Team Yell inside Pokemon Sword and Shield, but you had, like, the other guy we had to deal with. I don't like the whole save the world thing inside Pokemon games. I mean, I guess I get the point of view from, like, Nintendo's perspective on maybe why they'd want a big, like, epic story like that, because I guess when you're, like, younger, it's cooler, but like, maybe, I don't know. I just think it doesn't play to the strengths of the game, because Pokemon, by its nature, is a game where you want to explore, experiment with things, and, like, customize stuff, and if you're stuck on, like, sort of an on-rails journey or something like that, it detracts from it a lot. Like, Sun and Moon, I thought had a lot of really interesting ideas. Like, they didn't technically have gyms, they had, like, those challenges and so on that you could do. And that you were also trying to bring the Pokemon League to the region and yada 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 yada. But at the same time, there was like, just a terrible amount of dialogue in that game. And you had to go through a story that just was like, alright, I guess. But the whole time, I'd rather just been exploring the region and finding neat stuff inside it. Which you could do in like Gen 2 and Gen 1, like a lot more than that. Gen 3 as well. Like, Team Magma and Team Aqua weren't that bad. You'd find them every now and again, and the quest wasn't that long, but it's like at the point where it gets kind of invasive inside some of the later games, and they just won't shut up about a story that isn't that well written that you also don't care about. Like me, I would rather that be a side thing, or like for it to just, you know, be roadblocks when you're getting through, because like the Team Rockets, inside the original games, they're like sort of a way for you to pad out, or like an obstacle to get to the gym leader, but you could like sort of avoid going to them. Like Team Rocket inside Saffron City, if I remember right, you didn't actually need to do that until after you got the 7th badge if you didn't want to. Or the Team Rocket, to get the Sylph Scope, you could go to Fuchsia City first. Like, you could do stuff out of sequence, which I think is, like, really important for Pokemon games. And you could sort of do stuff out of sequence inside, Gen 2 as well. You can sort of do stuff out of sequence inside, Gen 3 too, I believe. If I'm remembering right. Because once you get Surf, you can go and, get the... Yeah, no, you can. You can go get the, 6th badge. I think you can skip Flannery if I remember right. Like, which I think is cool because that adds to different ways you can complete the game. It adds replay value. And there we go. Quick Claw, baby. Yeah! Get that defense curl, boy. So Pidgey, I hate Pidgey in this hack. A lot of Pidgey, or Pokemon Sand Attack in general, they will use it a lot. This Pidgey is not doing it, but I think it's because it doesn't know Sand Attack yet. It will use Sand Attack 3 times, then tackle you. And it is very annoying. That's a Pidgey down. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make is that, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right when you're, like, trying to stop the world from ending inside a Pokemon game. Team Rocket and, like... Team Rocket, I guess. Team Yell to a lesser extent. Because I don't even count them as, like, a bad team. Since they're so grounded, they feel more like they're a part of the world, and it doesn't feel like you're the center of the universe. Which I think works against Pokemon games. Just being like another trainer here trying to beat the league and so on, I think is, you know, really cool. You know, something in Sword and Shield, I thought like the big stadium thing was cool because, you know, you use the Dynamax Pokemon and so on. I feel like they should have probably saved the stadiums inside those games for just the Pokemon League in general, because it would have given it a better sense of grandeur. But, I don't know, that's just me throwing opinions out there and stuff like that. Just being critical of the Pokemon games. I mean, like, I think the Pokemon games up to this point, there has been, like, a decline in quality from Gen 6 going forward, but, like, all the ideas are there. Like, Pokemon Violet and Scarlet, like, they're ambitious as heck, but they just weren't done. It's just the release schedule. Here's Glint City, finally. It's the Sakura Tree City. There's actually a pretty decent amount you can do here. You have a side quest, which you can make flower tea with. It's kind of like berry juice, just a hold item where if you go below certain HP, heal 25 health. It's actually worth grinding flower petals, which we will find in a minute when we get into our first little dungeon here. And because like killing 25 HP during battle is pretty good for the first couple legs of the game. Everyone here's just giving you like general information, it's whatever. And there's also a side quest much later where you're going to need to give someone that flower tea, so make sure you get at least one, which isn't any trouble at all because of the area we'll be entering. Yeah, it's this lady right here. 4 flower petals, please. I like 4 flower petals and I'll give you a thing of tea. I'll cook it into tea for you. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, talk to everybody. You can get a HM from someone in this town by talking to them. You can get the experience share after the gym this early in the game, which I think is great. Good quality of life changes like that, I welcome wholeheartedly. You know something? I actually do hope that a little bit further down the line, you can, what do you call it? Have a hard mode in this game or something like that. That's something I loved about Black and White 2. I did eventually play, I got to get a 3DS, it makes it a little bit easier to play DS games. But that they had the hard mode inside Black and White 2, that was, if I remember right, there was a hard mode inside it. Was that Black and White 1? I'm pretty sure it was Black and White 2. But yeah, I thought that was like totally cool with Black and White 2, you got the hard mode inside the game. Yeah, so we got this Nidoran here. It's just gonna be like bleh. I would not recommend picking up Nidoking or Nidoqueen inside this game yet. I do not think they're very good just yet. Not because the Pokemon themselves are bad, but because the TM move pool you get and so on just isn't that great, and they don't learn that many really good moves as they level up. At least not to the point to where you hit the end of the hack, because by the end of the hack, you'll probably have Pokemon in their early to just somewhere in their 30s. I had like one beefed up for Alligator and a bunch of Pokemon in their early 30s by the time I hit the end of the hack. And there's a few Pokemon that there's not much purpose in catching because they're Pokemon that are really good later in the game, but at the midpoint of the game they're either not that good or they're just bad because they're still baking in the oven, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to be able to catch a Larvitar pretty early on. And that Larvitar, because of how far this hack goes, is a trap. Because Larvitar is total crap until he is Tyranitar. Like, Pupitar is, like, okay, I guess, but, like, why use Pupitar when you could use, like, Graveler or Golem? You know what I mean? Tyranitar is the only reason you want to get Larvitar. Let's see. Ooh, who else can you get earlier here in the game that, like, you wouldn't want to play later? You know, the Pokemon distribution is actually not bad in that regard, because you do get, like I was saying earlier, you get a pretty big variety of Pokemon. Like, you could catch a grass, fire, water, fighting, rock, flying Pokemon so far as we've come here. A normal Pokemon, obviously. And up to this point, yeah, you can get Nidoran, male and female, and we're going to see a Mareep in a minute here as well, and those Zubat. So yeah, you get a really big variety of Pokemon you can catch, and most of them are good. Like, once the final version of the hack comes out, they'll be very legitimate for, like, pulling through the entire playthrough, but at this point, be a little bit wary of anything that wouldn't be good later on. Here's Starglow Cavern. This is where you go further in. There's just a rock there that you need Rock Smash for. We gotta be the first gym to get through it. It's whatever. Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. Dwayne's really slow. He can't run from things. Oh, that's not good. I hate Zubats. They just come up to you all the time, use Supersonic. Don't pay rent, sit on your couch all day, eat up all the food in your fridge. Zubats, dude. Terrible. Terrible people. I'll try to eat that berry again off that tree, because I'm extra special. But, yeah, here's Mareep. I just wanted to show it. I don't catch Mareep. I don't really want Flaffy or Ampharos. You can get a Pikachu pretty close by here, too, if you would prefer that. And you can get a Thunderstone, not that far into the hack, so it's worth getting the Pikachu. if you'd like Raichu, but you know, you can get Ampharos. The TMs that are available in this, I like the selection you get because you don't get super power creep like where you get Thunderbolt early or anything like that. You get the TMs you get a pretty slim pickings for the most part. You get mostly tactical moves, like you get Rock Smash, but you get other stuff like Fake Out, and the TMs the gym leaders give you are all tactical. You get like Sunny Day, Rain Dance, Fake Out, and what's the last one? You get Roost. You don't get any offensive moves. You don't get anything like super power creepy, which I like. I can dig it. I like that you can't just come in here, get your Ice Beam or whatever and start blowing people away. You gotta like sort of work for it. Unless you Firestone your Arcanine and then it's got like super busted moves and you just blow everything away. But I think that's a glitch. At least it seems like it. When your Pokemon do evolve, they get all the moves that they would have learned from being in that evolved form beforehand, I think. Because every time I've evolved a Pokemon, they'll... Not every time. Most of the time I evolve the Pokemon inside this hack, they enable you to learn the moves they would have learned, like Bite or whatever. So you don't really have to worry about evolving your Pokemon like late and missing a move. Not that that usually happens. Most people just like get their Pokemon and evolve it right away and that's good. The reason that glitch might have happened with that Arcanine might have been because it was a stone item and it like triggered that and just went through the whole moveset. I'm not sure. But yeah, here we got HM7. That's Rock Smash. Rock Smash is pretty good. By the way, it's got a base power of 40. So when you do teach it to someone, it's like as good as Tackle, because Tackle's also got a base power of 40 inside the set, but it just lowers defense every time. So it's really good. The first gym is not hard at all, especially if you have a Geodude. The what do you call it? The spread on the types that you get when you use both a grass type and a rock type, I think is just great. I've done like runs in Pokemon games where I do something like that. Like I'll get the grass starter and I'll get a really solid like rock or ground type, something to, you know, just cover the grass type's weaknesses, because grass type Pokemon don't have that many weaknesses. Like with the Geodude Chikorita combo, like the big weakness you'd have to watch out for is like steel Pokemon, but Geodude still knows like magnitude. Well, doesn't know it yet, but he will learn it. So he could still sort of cover that base, and most steel Pokemon, well, I guess not all steel Pokemon use physical attacks anymore, because you might get like Lucario or someone using Aura Sphere, but a decent amount of them are not super great against physical defenders. You could also use something like, no, Aggron doesn't work because then they're both weak to fire. Well, the rock ground slash grass type duo gives you a lot of coverage, and I like it a lot. You could like throw an electric in there or a fighting Pokemon or something like that as well and give you a little bit more coverage, but you don't need too much more outside of that. At least I don't feel like you do, because I get pretty far without really needing anything else. You get Dweeble inside the Starlight Caverns, that, you know, that little bug rock Pokemon. It has a pretty good moveset inside this game. And for some reason it like learns Rock Polish really early. I don't know if it always does that, because I played with that Pokemon, I think in Sword and Shield, and it didn't learn that. At least I don't remember it learning that. Which I don't know if I would like even want to use it, because its speed is just there we go, Revive, Hidden Revive, remember that, get it. Because its speed is just abysmal, normally. As is a lot of rock Pokemon. But like, I feel like I'd rather just be raising defense or something like that, or just have a Quick Claw on the Pokemon to get some cheap shots in every now and again. The thing I like about the Quick Claw is, especially if you're like playing against a friend or something like that. Rival's coming up. Yeah, he left his Pokedex in the Lighthouse. What makes you think you could just take it? I don't need your help from a weakling like you. I'm fart, I smell. I'm angry, I got gas, I ate too much beans. Man, I'm juvenile. Am I sure I'm 28? Am I sure I'm not like 8? Something's wrong with me, guys. I need to stop taking my crazy pills. Oh, there we go, Snubble. Snubble's a fairy type, right? Is it fairy normal or just fairy? I don't know. I'm not a Pokemaster. Post in the comments below, what types altogether are Snubble? I have not caught a Snubble in this game to look at its stats and find out. It's not like Pokemon Prism where you like have gas type and stuff like that. That's another game I wouldn't mind making a Let's Play of, is or a playthrough like this of. I don't know if I'd do like a guide, but Pokemon Prism was pretty good. That was like the last hack that I played all the way through before this one, was Pokemon Prism. When I was working at my last job, well, my last second job, I was playing it on the bus on my phone, and I had a lot of fun doing that. Ugh, 3 hours on the bus every day, terrible. But yeah. I'm not sure how much time I will have to do hacks after this one, or if I will, or if I won't. That just kind of depends on how well this video is received and so on. I'll definitely do a full guide on Coral just because I like the game a lot and I know where everything is now inside it. And I think this deserves it. I think this Pokemon hack deserves more than just some dude live streaming, just whatever. I think it deserves like a real good like combing through and explanations for most of the stuff in it. I'll probably make some shorts on like specific stuff, like where the evolution stones are earlier in the game, and a couple things with some of the side quests and so on. Because I think it's just worth putting it out there that those things are there, and this game just does a lot of stuff right like that. Like, what's really cool about it is that this game doesn't actually have legendaries in it, which is freaking awesome. I love that this creator did not fall back on legendary Pokemon to be a strong side content. Like, you'll see, I'll call them like Ubers, because you can get Pokemon like in special areas as like sort of a prize. And a lot of time they'll have like a cool move, or maybe cool, hold a cool item, or just be like above average level for what you'd get at that point in the game. Or like maybe it's a Pokemon that would evolve at a higher level, but you got it at a lower level, so you get an advantage for getting it, you know what I mean? Versus just like, oh, cool, I got Mew here, or something stupid like, not stupid, something status quo like that. Getting a legendary as a prize is legitimate. It is cool to get a legendary as a prize in a game, but a lot of hacks throw too much of that at you. And if you have a lot of side content and the prizes you get are all legendaries, you're going to have a team of nothing but a bunch of legendaries after a while. Another thing I don't like about legendaries is because of how good their stats are, they take away the choices you have inside the game for Pokemon unless you're intentionally shooting yourself in the foot. Because one of the best parts about Pokemon games is that you get the option to pick different Pokemon on your team and so on. And you can pick your favorite Pokemon or have a cool strategy. But something that bugs at least me is when I see a better option floating around inside my PC or something, I feel like I have to use it, or I really want to use it because it's a better option. And if you just go throwing Mewtwo's and Zapdoses and Suicunes and Zekrums and so on at people earlier in the game, or just throw too many of them at them, it just sort of invalidates the effort that you put into leveling up your team and so on. It just makes it feel kind of pointless, you know what I mean? So you don't like get the advantage of that grind, or by like trying to strategically level up your team as you go through the game and play against trainers. And, you know, I don't know, it just makes it feel like I should just keep my starter, blow everybody away, and just catch the legendaries and roll with that. Like, you can do that in mainline Pokemon games sometimes too. Like, you play Pokemon Sapphire, you can just play Blaziken through the majority of the game and just catch Kyogre and just like wreck everything like that if you want to. Like, you know, maybe it's not the best strategy, but it's a legitimate one. Or a lot of these hacks will just, you know, have too many legendaries and fall back on them, which I don't like. But yeah, no, there's no legendaries inside this. You get the pseudo legendary like Larvitar, but you gotta level it up. Good luck, dude. Good luck doing that. I'm not doing it. But yeah, lots of side content too. But I like that a lot because it gives leveling up all your Pokemon a lot of purpose. It also is kind of a difficulty thing too, because if you can't catch a legendary to run around, oh, you can get Venopede inside this forest. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell what's inside this area. You can get Venopede, you can get Clefairy, you can get Jigglypuff, and you can get Venopede, Clefairy, Jigglypuff, and Pikachu. Those are the Pokemon you can catch in this area. There's a secret area inside this forest that we cannot get to until we have Surf, unless that's just one of the things I didn't figure out. If there's a way to get to the secret area without Surf, post it in the comments below so I can make like a short or something displaying how to get there. But to my knowledge, at least, there's not a way to get there without Surf. So you can't get there too near the end of the game, but you can get Smeargle inside that area, which is pretty cool. Like another thing you can do is like, you know how they have shinies inside, I don't have shinies. They have the red Gyarados inside Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal. That's another reward you could have for going through an area, getting a shiny, like, just Pokemon. A shiny Nidoran. Ah, cool, shiny Nidoran, it's great. But, no, we'll see some of that stuff in a little while. I just decided to catch the Venopede. I'm not even sure if I'm going to use it. But I was like, oh, it's low on HP. Venopede is poison Pokemon. Maybe I might need the coverage later. I don't think I'm going to need it. You don't, like, really need a bug or poison type. Like, there's fairies inside this game, but it's like, it's okay. I was just thinking, like, I think Venopede evolves at, like, late 20s, early 30s to its third form. I'm like, whatever. I'm just going to call it the Nasty, because it's a bug. Bugs are nasty. I don't like them. They bugged me out, you know what I'm saying? Clever and original. I use the Petra Berry right here to heal our poison. If you walk around enough, the poison just wears off anyways, like it does in later games. Poison Barb. You know, I get really lucky when I catch Pokemon for some reason. When I caught the Dweeble inside my last playthrough, it had a hard stone on it. I thought it was pretty cool. In terms of dungeon design, that's another thing I'll definitely credit this. Like I said that every dungeon has like a forked path that you can go and do something else, but on top of that, the dungeons are not hallways. Like, it's not like you go through the dungeon and you go straight and you have the option of turning left one time and that goes somewhere else with the prize at the end. The dungeons are built like complexly to where, like, there's an endpoint inside this dungeon, the whatever glade it's called, Glint Glade, I think. But there's an endpoint inside the dungeon and you can get there like two and a half ways, sorta, because it's got a lot of forks in the road. Like, it's like if the Viridian Forest, you could go left to get to the end of the Viridian Forest when you enter it instead of right inside Red and Blue. If you haven't played Pokemon Red or Blue, or Fire Red, Leaf Green, or Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, well, buddy, I don't know how you found this video, because, like, this is a weird, obscure Pokemon hack, and you haven't even played the mainline stuff. I mean, like, I feel like everyone should play the Gen 1 Pokemon games, because I feel like that region is pretty well designed. It's one of the better designed Pokemon regions in my opinion, because you can break sequence, and it's got good level progression. The level progression in this game, also very good. There is a bit of a difficulty spike after the second gym when you get to the third and fourth gym, but as long as you play it through the side content, and just battle all the trainers, you shouldn't need to grind at all, like on Wild Pokemon. If you do skip the side content and skip some trainers, you probably will have to grind a bit, but not that much. Like, if you know what you're doing and know what the trainers have, this Clefairy is being a pain in the butt, by the way. It is just, ugh. But, this Clefairy, I believe I named it after my wife. I was thinking of using the Clefairy. I'm not positive if I will or not yet, but like having Encore and stuff on the team, not the worst idea. Because the enemies inside this game, especially like the bosses and stuff, they actually use status moves and stuff like that. And forcing them to use something over and over again would be pretty cool. It's like the bad team inside this game. I say the first boss in the bad team is harder than the second one because his team is just more solid. But they're decently threatening. The Grove is such a pleasant place for a hike. I can see why your favorite Pokemon are drawn here. Yeah. This area just looks nice. I like it a lot. It's got little rivers going through it. It's got like a sort of webbed layout. Lots of different turns. I feel incentive to explore here. This place is a really good starter dungeon and I like it a lot. It is better than anything you'd find in most hacks and better than anything you'd find in the mainline games. That being said, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just paused for a second. That being said, I get why a lot of the dungeons inside the mainline games, especially the early ones, are linear because their age target is younger kids, like, you know, between the ages of like 8 and 10. That's like sort of like the sweet spot for when Nintendo wants them to, like, you know, get hooked on that Pokemon, you know, Go for that Pokemon card injection at target. Snort you some of that Charizard, boy. But yeah, get some of the Clefairy dust. But yeah, so they want like easier dungeons for like the kids, I'm assuming, and stuff like that, which is why we haven't like really gotten a good hard Pokemon game with like really complicated dungeons or anything like that. I would appreciate complicated puzzles inside dungeons inside this game in the later parts. So far in the game, we'll hit the dungeons, and none of them have like a complicated puzzle. Like we hit a couple areas, more so in the side areas, where it's like, oh, I gotta do a thing or two. But nothing like, oh my god. Geodude is so slow. I can't remember anything with him. But, we'll run into some stuff where it's like, you know, oh, hit a switch to make this happen, make that happen, or maybe do this. And there's a couple logic puzzles, too. Like, we have to do a thing and fall through the floor at one point, and there's another thing and then we have to do with a torch to make stuff happen, which is pretty cool, but it's not, like, hard. I like it when you get, like, a riddle or something like that. That's just because I played a lot of JRPGs in my day, especially, like, ones in the PlayStation 1, where they'll give you, like, something sort of cryptic to figure out. Nothing like, you know, when you had to read Braille inside Gen 3 for the golems. I thought that was a little goofy. It was, like, kind of cool at the same time, but, nothing like that. But just, like, you know, like a good thought puzzle. I like those. Just, please no block puzzles. I hate block puzzles so much. Well, I don't hate all block puzzles. I just think it's really hard for people to get block puzzles right. Like, the one in Victory Road in Gen 1, I think, scarred me for life, because you have to, like, you know, use strength, and then you have to, like, slowly inch it along, and if you, like, turn it wrong, it gets stuck on the wall, and you have to go exit and go back in, and that whole time you have to go in the menu, the crappy Gen 1 menu that can only hold, like, what, 20 items. You gotta scroll down for everything. You gotta use your super repel, otherwise you're getting harassed by, like, Gravelers, Golbats, and Onyx, and so on. I grew up in Gen 1, but man, oh yeah, those games were first tries, alright. Holy moly. Block puzzle's terrible. The Seafoam Island one, I liked that one. The Seafoam Island block puzzle was pretty cool. But yeah. Creator Pokemon Coral, if you're listening to this, please, no block puzzles unless they're like really good ones. But so far in the game, we haven't gotten a block puzzle, so I'm down. As for the gyms inside this game, the second gym, pretty straightforward. It doesn't really have a puzzle. The first gym, also no puzzle. You just have to get an item that we get from this dungeon to actually go inside it, the library pass. And the third and fourth gym, like, don't really have like puzzles per se, but they have like little gimmicks to make the progression feel a little bit more interesting, which I think is cool. The fourth gym is like you just kind of get trolled the whole time, which I think is kind of funny. Like, we'll get to it when we see it. This guy's talking about the magical energy of the forest and how it attracts fairy Pokemon, which is great. Yeah, gym challenge, Glint City, all that good stuff. Give me my library pass. There we go, library card, my mistake. It's a library card, people, not a pass. We don't get passes here, we only get cards. No card for you. Yeah. I'm not sure if there's like a hidden item floating around here inside this dungeon. I don't think I picked it up here. There probably is like a potion floating around somewhere. I know there's no stones. There's nothing like really good if I didn't find it. There we go. I don't know, I really dig the original music in this game. It just feels so like... I like how this game is fan-made, and it just doesn't feel fan-made, you know what I mean? It feels pro. So, Pokemon Coral, the original post for it I saw was in 2017. So it took 5 years to get to this point, so it really shows how much time and effort went into making this game the way it is. Because, like, I mean, I think all the trainer progressions and stuff are great, too. Like, as long as you got good type coverage, you can get through everything. But, like, if you were being lazy and you just did keep one or two Pokemon or didn't really think through your team, like, I'm doing a Grass Rock, but if I was doing something, like, different or, like, less thought out, like, the random trainers that you come across, they can actually hurt you. Like, They all have decent move pools, and they have good enough AI to be able to do something against you if you're just, you know, being a jackhole and not, like, trying. So I think that's really cool. I have looked into, like, seeing how Pokemon hacking works exactly in the Pokemon community forums. I've thought of, like, playing around with it before, because I know how to program a bit. I know, like, some, I don't know a language that you could hack a Pokemon game with. I know JavaScript, so I could, like, do a little bit of RPG Maker, like Exp.MV, or, no, XP is like Ruby, I think, but, like, RPG Maker MV and so on. But I'm pretty sure you need to know, like, C or something like that to do these hacks. I know there's dev tools that they give you can use. I'm in college right now, by the way. I'm a computer science student, so I do all this crap. But, I'll probably be learning C pretty soon. I'm just getting my prereqs out of the way. Current classes that I'm going through. Perspectives in History. Ah, wow, Perspectives in History. That one is, not a real class, I don't feel like. Not to me, anyways. I've always been pretty interested in history, so they, like, just gave me a topic, and I'm like, oh, cool, all I gotta do is go find a couple sources, and I'll just write about it. Like, estimated time for the class. That's, like, the best part. If you get a class where you're like, oh, I'm already versed in this is great, the amount of time you actually have to sink into it is just so low. At least for me, anyways. I'm not going to, like, a big university or anything. I'm just doing online courses my job is paying for. I work at a retailer. If you work at a big box retailer, look into the benefits that they give you. They might have what's called a guild program, which, like, a lot of employers do, where you can actually get a degree for free. I know if you work at Walmart or Target, I believe, at least I'm pretty sure Target, I know Walmart for sure, when you start there, even if you're part-time, you can start going to college online for a computer science degree for free. So, if you're watching this video and you're under the age of 18 and have no prospects for going to college because you're afraid of student loan debt, go work at a Walmart and they will cover your degree for computer science, and you can make a whole bunch of money one day. It actually only takes you about 3 years to get the degree if you work through the summer, which they'll let you do. I wish I'd done that stuff earlier in my life, because I'm like 28 now and I'm doing this stuff, but I'm a millennial. A lot of us don't get that stuff a little bit later in life. You know, the whole student loan debt thing kind of scares a lot of people, including myself. And a lot of people don't know what they really want to do until later. I didn't discover that I liked programming until, I don't know what, a year or two ago, and just started doing that. I had a lot of fun with it and decided, you know, I'd probably pick up some college courses, which I did at the start of 2022. I ended up breaking my collarbone and I had to put them on hold after that. I only got a few classes out of the way at first. I got Perspectives in Liberal Arts out of the way. Oh wow, that class is so easy. Oh my god. I, like, drunk on a bet I could have finished that class. And what was it? Some other class I can't even remember. I think it was like some class they make you take to make sure you know how to study. And then English Comp 1, which is also really easy. So, yeah, I'm just kind of, like, coasting through it, which is nice. Hoping I'll have my degree by the time I'm 31. About 31. That's when I'm hoping I'll have my degree. It'd be pretty cool. But in the meantime, yeah, I'll probably just work on my programming stuff. I'm definitely considering doing some type of programming with Pokemon hacks, just because, like, it would be a good way to, like, get some programming experience. I'm assuming, like with most things, you do object-oriented programming. Man, I'm talking about crap that is probably so far over people's heads right now. Because, like, how many people, like, actually know how to program stuff? Probably not that many, because programming is hard. And because not a lot of people, I could see why people don't want to do it. Programming is a freaking headache. It's a lot of errors and smashing your face on the keyboard until something works. Unless you're, like, you know, I've done it for a really long time. But, yeah, no, I should shut up about that. It's probably alienating some viewers. My bad, guys. But, anyways, I was thinking of doing things with Pokemon hacks because I think it would apply to the skills that I want to get in real life for the job I'll hopefully have someday. But, yeah, no. Here's this. You know, I actually used to do Pokemon hacks way back in the day on a different YouTube channel. I'm just going through the team right now, showing what I got. But I used a lot of... I was 17, so I used a lot more colorful language. I'm glad that YouTube channel is taken down at this point. I had like 10,000 subs when it came out, so it was pretty cool. But I definitely talked like a 17-year-old. I played like a 17-year-old. I raged like a 17-year-old. And a lot of people seem to like that. Nothing like I'd be terribly embarrassed about. I don't think I embarrassed myself or anything like that. But it's just like, I don't want that to represent who I am now. Like, some of that stuff did not age very well at all. Like, no hate speech or anything like that, you know what I mean? But it's just like, ugh. Like, thinking back on it, those videos, thank you YouTube for banning my channel for whatever reason. I think I had like copyrighted music and stuff like that. And I was playing a Pokemon game that was a little bit less PG, a little bit above PG-13, if you know what I'm saying. And I think I got flagged enough times to get it removed from YouTube. Because I got a couple flags and just my channel got taken down. It was a shame though. I was making like 50 bucks a month from it, like by the end of it, from ad revenue. Which is just so much, but you know, it's enough to pay for like, enough to pay for your Netflix, to pay for your Hulu and so on. Yeah, that Pidgey right there, like, it liked its sand attack. Screw that Pidgey. This Rattata though. Haha! I'm gonna make skeever meat out of you, buddy. Skyrim reference. But delicious. I've done too much of that. I've played too much Skyrim in my time. I wish I had all the... I love Skyrim to death, but I wish I had all the hours I played in Skyrim back and I could just do something more productive with them. Because, like, you know, I modded Skyrim to death, did all my Skyrim stuff, probably beat the game like 5 times. I probably have like 1,000 hours on it through Steam. But, yeah. I don't know. Once you put enough time into one game, it's just like, man, should I have really played that one game that much? Because it's like the same experience for the most part. I mean, you know, when you put weather mods in that game, it's just like you could sink so much time into it. Like even in Pokemon, I don't know. I feel like Pokemon's a little bit more rewarding when you're like playing through the Battle Frontier and you're getting the badges and stuff like that, or the symbols, whatever they're called. Because in Pokemon Emerald, I got most of the gold ones. I didn't get the gold ones for the ones I didn't like. There's the Battle Dojo, whatever, the one where you like get random Pokemon. I didn't like that one. And the other one where like the Pokemon are battling for you, I didn't like that one either. But like, I'd say like 4 out of 5 of them I think I got gold symbols on. It's like the Battle Factory, the Tournament one, the Battle Pike, and the Pyramid. Those are the ones I played a lot. A couple of them, I didn't even get any symbols. Like, the one where you got rando Pokemon and the one where the Pokemon fought for you, I could not stand those. But for the most part, I got pretty good ones. This is the gym leader right here. He's really cool. We're about to see his team here. His team is really unique. Some of how his normal Pokemon don't have weaknesses. Also, another attention to detail. You talk to him when he walks forward. Little stuff like that is the immersion that... I'm going to shut up for a second, listen to the music. OST. But it's little stuff like that, attention to detail like that, that really brings these games to life. And that I think brings him up to the next level. This guy uses a copycat team, so his primary Pokemon is Smeargle. It's got Confusion, Thunder Wave, Fake Out, and I think it has one more move that I can't remember what it is. If you know what that last move is, post it in the comments below so that I know, so I don't know, I can annotate it or something. His other Pokemon is Ditto, though. As a main Pokemon, I think Ditto for a gym leader is so interesting, and I think it's a great decision that the creator of this game chose the first gym for Ditto to be in, because I don't think Ditto being in any other gym would have worked because his base stats are just terrible. But inside this gym, if you don't know this guy as a Ditto and you come in here, that could throw you off. It could like cost you a game. You know, you have your starter playing up against it. Maybe you're like just level 13, 14 like me. If you turn into Chikorita, and I just had Chikorita out, I might not have had an answer to it. Maybe Chikorita's kind of messed up when I go in there. Smeargle, like, you know, gave him the tail treatment and stuff like that, confused him and did paralysis, and I didn't have items. It could have turned into Chikorita, then I'd have been screwed because everyone would have gotten Razor Leaf to death. I think that's pretty cool. It's like, you know, he's not like, his team's not like good, but it's interesting. And it makes you think a little bit. I like when I have to think when I play Pokemon. Not when I can just hold fast forward and press A really fast. I think that's bad. It's actually why I don't like a lot of Nuzlocks. Because, like, Nuzlocks are really popular. But, like, the way you beat a Nuzlocke is just you over-level all your Pokemon and you just steamroll everything. And then maybe something goes wrong and someone gets a crit out on you. And that's it. But here's an example of the TMs that you get. You don't get any superpower moves or anything like that. Like, he gives us Fake Out, which is a really good strategic move because it just makes the opponent flinch really quick. Versus, like, you know, oh, you got Thunderbolt. Or, you know, he gives us a TM for Body Slam or something like that, which just makes the game a lot easier. We get an option for strategy. I married a Slugma. All the books inside this library have interesting stuff. It's like they have some kind of commentary. One of these talks about like history inside the region, and some of them are like just joke books and so on. They have something interesting to say. But yeah, no, I like that they give you strategic moves rather than just power moves, because now you can't just make your one big powerful Pokemon and steamroll the whole game. Because it does not matter how good the design of your Pokemon trainers are, if you just give your player so many tools that they can just go and twist their head off without any effort, you can have the best designed AI in the game and your player might not even know it because they just went and twisted the guy's head off. I mean, if I go out of my way and power level my whole team until everyone's level 20 and go up against this guy and steamroll him, I chose to do that as the player. The creator of this game didn't go and hand that to me and not make me use it, but the path of least resistance would have been to do that. And that's a lot of the times with just stuff in life. If you have a path of least resistance, people just tend to take it. Like, especially in games and stuff like that. So if you do that and you have good features that path of least resistance would go in and overshadow or make it to where you don't even see it, the player might never see it. Like, a lot of the side content inside this game, a lot of people probably will never see, not because it's hard to access or anything like that, but just because people might not go and check it out. A lot of the side content you can just like sort of stumble into, and it's not like hidden. It's there. You just like go, oh, hey, I'm going in this cave. Oh, wow, I wonder how you get in there. Maybe I'll like look around a little bit and find my way into it. Like, you'll see later. Like, even what was it? The Sunglow Grotto or whatever it was called earlier. Once you get Surf, you can explore that area a little bit more. It doesn't have too much you can really do yet, but once the other releases are in, you'll be able to do stuff. But there's like an alternate pathway out of the back door that you can get through inside there. There's not a whole lot to see in the Sunglow Grotto. But the other areas, there's definitely a bunch to see, which is very nice. But yeah, no, but like I was saying, path of least resistance. If you have a lot of stuff that makes the game a lot easier, like legendary Pokemon, it will overshadow a lot of the other features you have inside the game, especially with something like a Pokemon hack, because it's not like a lot of people are going to be playing online. Well, people might be playing online battles with Pokemon Coral at some point. The feature's not already, I don't believe the feature's in the game, but he might add it in like how they did with some of the other Pokemon hacks. But it has to play like a solid JRPG or RPG, you know, like a turn-based RPG, because you don't have the luxury of the multiplayer being able to step in and take care of that for you, because that's how the Pokemon games are now. Like, the main campaign is like sort of and maybe the gyms are like kind of unless it's, you know, Nessa's gym, because that's my waifu right there. But Nessa. Oh wait, this is a Pokemon game. Everyone's underage. I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail, guys, later. But what do you call it? I'm sorry. I'm laughing. Hold up. Let me regain my train of thought. I'm going to like the end of the area right now. But the multiplayer that you can do, which is online, so you don't even need another person in the room with you to be able to play multiplayer anymore, makes it to where they can get away with being a lot lazier, or I shouldn't say lazy, they can get away with pouring a lot less resources and time into a Pokemon game and releasing it without really fleshing it out, as long as you can get most of the Pokemon you want, and so on, to be able to do that online game and just level your Pokemon up. Exp.Share, by the way, awesome quality of life feature that we get it this early. I love it. Love, love, love. Every Pokemon hack, just give us the Exp.Share early. I shouldn't have to work for it. It's a quality of life thing, not a level up thing or anything like that. I don't want to have to go out there, switch my Pokemon out constantly, or go and have to grind in a low level area just cause. It's not making the game harder, it's just wasting my time. But, that's artificial difficulty, not real difficulty. But yeah, these Pokemon games, if they're hacks especially, they have to be designed in a way that supports them as a standalone game that you can't play multiplayer with. Otherwise, I don't think they're worth playing. But yeah, at least, especially a one like this where it's like its own game. But anyways, that's it for this particular part. Next time we'll be going to the second gym, we'll be meeting the enemy team, and going through the Starglow Mountain, or whatever it's called. If there's anything I missed inside this area, be sure to comment it below so I can cover it later on. If you like the video, like the freaking video, and subscribe, especially if you made it this far in. And thank you very much for watching, I appreciate it. Download Pokemon Coral, play Pokemon Coral, it is a fantastic game.